Hello friends, welcome back to my channel and to another Plan With Me video. This week we are memory planning the week that was January 13th through to January 19th, and we are using this very old but very gorgeous kit from Plannerface called Cafe au Lait. I remember eyeing this kit off for so long, and then when I finally bought it, it kept getting put in my lineup, getting taken out, put in my lineup, taken out. And I finally decided that this was the kit that I was going to use in January for the week that I returned to work. I thought it was the perfect kit. If I don't have an office kit, and I feel like there's not a lot of office kits floating around, I tend to use like a cafe or a coffee themed kit for my like back to work week, if that makes sense. I did pair this spread with some copper or rose gold foil, rose gold from SPC, because it leans like more pink, and it is an older foil bundle. In saying that, weirdly, once again, same as the week prior to this, I haven't actually used any full box overlays. I've stuck to like the date dots, the glitter header overlays, and then I've pulled in some scripts and icons. So I don't know who I am at this point in my life, because like, what am I doing? But either way, I do enjoy how this kit turned out. However, I'm still a little bit unsure about the bottom washi. For anyone who's watched me for a while, you guys know that I tend to like to split my bottom washi. I don't know whether it's because it like breaks up the patterns, I don't know, but every now and again when there is beautiful bottom washi, I will use the washi as is. And in this particular kit, there's these like beautiful tiled patterns. So pretty. So I was like, I'm going to use the full washi this week. And then when I look at the spread and it like looking at it now, I don't know if it's the bottom washi that makes it look too busy, or if it's the clip art, because the clip art is quite old and maybe the clip art's busy. Like, I don't know. I can't put my finger on what it is, but there's just something about this spread that makes it look very busy. And I just don't know about it. Like, I don't know if I maybe split the bottom washi in two and put like a pink washi tape or a blue washi tape or something like that, whether the breakup of those patterns against the full boxes and busyness will break it up a bit. I don't know, but let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because we're all our own harshest critics, and I feel like whilst I might be, ripping this spread apart, well, not ripping it apart, like I said, I do like how it came out. There's just something I can't put my finger on that doesn't make it a like favorite spread. So if you can pinpoint it, let me know so then I can fix it. But regardless, I do love how it turned out. I think it's the perfect way to mark returning to work. It is also, because it is older clip art, there was a lot of like half boxes. So Plannerface back in the day used to do half boxes that had clip art in them. So for example, when I lay down the first box on Monday morning, you will see there's like a little coffee cup already in the box. So I've tried to make those work where I can as well, just to make use of all the functional boxes. And then you'll see some really old formatted icons, which are like done in like a white line. So on Tuesday, for example, you'll see that I'm doing laundry, and I use one of those old icons, and it's just, I don't know, such a blast from the past. But there you go, there's that clip art box that I'm talking about. I didn't have enough full boxes in this kit, because again, it is an older kit. It didn't come with all those add-on options and things back then. So at this point in time, my sidebar has the equivalent of a full box of white space in it. I don't know whether I'm going to put a checklist in there. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to find like an old quote. I don't know. But as of right now, as I'm doing this voiceover in November of 2025, there is still white space there. So we'll see what happens. But let's go ahead and get started with the day by day. So first things first, on Monday, I marked that it was the first day back at work for 2025. I was very lucky. I think I had from like the 22nd of December off until this day. It is very weird that I started back on Monday, because usually I'll kind of prolong it and do a shorter week. So I'd return on like the Wednesday. But I don't know. So I marked that. I then marked that I had to call the pharmacy and pay for medication, because again, IVF, we paused our IVF after our transfer cycle failed in November because our last little embryo didn't defrost, so we were essentially starting again in 2025. And we were obviously getting ready to get started on the first cycle for the new year. I then marked that I was watching slash listening to some ASMR on Twitch. And then that night I've marked that my husband and I watched Mr. Beast games. For anyone who hasn't watched it or enjoys like Squid Game and those sorts of things, it's kind of like that, but obviously a tamer, humane version. Basically, like there's a whole bunch of people, they go through different tasks, physical, mental, those kinds of things. Nothing like Squid Game in that, again, like I said, they're humane, like they're puzzles and agility tests and strength tests and things like that. So if you're interested, you can always check that out. And then I marked that I uploaded a plan with me this night, but I have used a flat lay. I tend to use flat lays when I don't have much else to mark to take up that space. On Tuesday, I marked that I snoozed my alarm clock and slept until 9 a.m. Second day back on the job. Normally I'd start at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, but apparently on this day I snoozed until 9, so great start back for the new year. I then marked work that I was very unmotivated. After work, I did a voiceover, I did some laundry, I also watched some YouTube, and once again, also spent some more time watching and or listening to ASMR. I say watching and or listening because depending on how you watch or what you enjoy, ASMR artists do both visual and auditory, ASMR. So visual, they use like their hands and lights effects and things like that. And then obviously with their voice, they make the noises. So you can actually do both. Wednesday, at the top of the day, I have marked work. And then marked that I had a headache. And then this day we were advised by our senior managers that the work from home privileges had been made less relaxed. So we started working from home in 2020. I was in a different role then. When I came into this role, I think it was the end of 2022. And we were required to attend the office once a week. And then as of this particular announcement on this day, they told us that we were required to come back to work 3 or 5 days. So 3 days a week. There was no adjustment period. It was like start immediately. They weren't giving time for anyone to like make childcare adjustments or anything like that. It was really rough. The beginning of 2025 for my workplace, but more specifically my team, was very, very rough. And you'll see that through some of these plan with me's because I probably marked a lot of frustration and sadness and rage and those sorts of things. So that is why I've used the little once more with love emoji with her finger up. It's a big adjustment too. Like I know that we used to do it 5 days a week, but to go from only coming in once per week to then 3 days with a snap of a finger, we all knew that it could come at any moment, but the adjustment has been huge. Like even now I can't do it. I'm so exhausted. Anyway, I then marked that I had an emotional breakdown. So again, I think that was because of that announcement. And then obviously because I was, I've been doing IVF for the last 2 years at this point, or year and a half-ish, 12 months. I didn't know how I was going to manage being on all of the injections, being hormonal, having to come to the office 3 days a week, completely exhausted. They'd taken our parking away from us. So I just didn't know how I was going to cope doing an IVF cycle for 2 weeks straight with all of that going on at once, because it's just, if you've not done it, you could not possibly understand the hormonal, emotional, and mental taxing that IVF has on you. But for those who may have done it or know people who have done it, you've probably heard it before. It's a lot. And then to have to worry about coming into work, like it's too much. So I had a bit of a breakdown. That afternoon, I marked that I started watching Virgin River season 6, and then I marked that we had a blackout this day. On to a Thursday, I've marked at the top of the day there that it was my dad's birthday. It was also a work in office day. And I delivered my Christmas gifts this particular week because my friends and I had different leave over Christmas, so we were all off when others weren't and things like that. So I made sure to take my gifts in for them on this day. I then went to the cheesecake shop on the way home to get my dad a cake for his birthday. And then I obviously went to my dad's to spend his birthday with him, to eat the cheesecake, to catch up, all of that. My husband also got his favorite dinner from KFC that night. And then I marked that we had the cheesecake, which was passion fruit flavored. Friday, I've marked work. My little guinea pig had dental surgery again on this day. You guys know the saga, so I won't go into it, but another day, another dental surgery. I also marked that I picked up my IVF medication this day. Of course, I got my token signature coffee on the way home. I marked having a headache. That I picked up my guinea pig once his surgery was done, and then I've left a big thing there to mark something that I haven't marked, so I'm going to have to refer back to my notes. I'm assuming it was that we watched a movie. Maybe I was waiting on icons or something. I don't know. And then on to the weekend. So on Saturday, I marked that I slept in. I then marked that we went and had lunch at like one of the local cafes, which was really nice. I marked having a TikTok scroll. That I hung out with our doggos on the couch. That I pulled some stickers this day. That I uploaded this day. And then again, I've left another blank spot at the bottom there. So again, looks like 2025 plan with me is off to a great start, because I'm already having to go back and fill in spreads because I'm a mess and I'm unprepared. The joy of being like so far ahead, I guess, is that once I do go back, I can like put in all of the icons and put in all of the missing scripts and things like that. It's just obviously annoying at the time that you're filming, because you then have to keep your planner notes until you finish the spread. So I end up with planner notes all over my house. Like I've got planner notes dating back to like 2018 at this point. So fun times. But last and certainly not least, we then have Sunday. So I've marked we had some morning cuddles. I did some filming. We were watching I'm a Celebrity. I've marked having a lazy evening, aka we didn't do much that evening. We probably just sat on the couch and scrolled YouTube, our phones, watched whatever was on in the background. And then this night I was reading Never Lie. Again, I don't remember what that was, but I was reading at that point, so that's a win, right? Anyway, that is it for this plan with me. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below, and I will see you all very soon for another video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye for now.